Ew, ew. Y'all know what it is. All right, man. We got a big fish talk. It says live. I guess it's not live. I guess I should change that. We're just getting into, all the different designs and cool text that we can have on here. So let me go ahead and I'm in Melon, by the way. But yeah, we're gonna do a review. We're gonna do a video review. We're gonna do a video review. And there we go. We're gonna do a video review live. I have not seen Joe Biden's speech to Howard. I think I just caught like maybe 2 minutes of it. It says it's about 26-minute video. Probably won't watch the whole thing, but I think it's just funny. I think it's funny and super convenient, maybe even smart, I guess, for him to be the one speaking at Howard's commencement graduation. And I think it's smart for Biden. It gives him an opportunity to appeal to, his black voters, I guess. He's I'm sure he is funny because when I talk to a lot of older people, and this is all my thoughts. Y'all know my thoughts always run around my mind as I'm talking to y'all. But when we put up that post, we did a poll of if you had to vote right now, who would you vote for? And we put it on the YouTube channel, and 1,200 people plus actually voted. And it was something like 80% for Trump, 4% for Biden, and then I guess like 16% for other. And I was surprised. I was surprised that the number was that high for Trump, and that the number was that low for Biden. Maybe I was even surprised I guess I wasn't surprised that a lot of people would put other, because, you talk to people and, that's where they are. But I've been telling people for a long time, like a lot of these older Biden supporters who been voting Democrat for their entire life, I tell my parents, like, yo, our generation, we don't see it how y'all see it. We do not see it how y'all see it. We are not as emotionally connected to the trauma. Maybe this is why, and the fear baiting, or whatever you would call it, manipulation that the Democratic Party has always given us. Like, if you don't, they damn near been running on, if you don't vote for us, you'll be enslaved soon. They give you that. And a lot of us don't see it that way. A lot of us don't care if, this person's an asshole, or you think that party's an asshole. A lot of us just don't care. We're looking at policies. We're realizing that us making decisions with our emotions just based on who we like and dislike, and who sounds nicest when they speak to us, and who sounds more like a pastor that we're used to, Barack, or even Clinton. He sweet talk us to death. A lot of us don't care about that. We just care about the results. We just care about, who's somebody that is just going to shoot it to us straight. Who's the least political politician, So that's what we're looking for. And I guess the numbers show. And what's also kind of surprising is that I always look at my analytics, and over the last 28 days or the last 30 days, 70% of my viewers, 70% of our viewers, my fault, our viewers, we do the team thing, but I rep it like you own it. You feel me? It's 70% of our views have been from women, and most of them, our largest group that watches is between, what was it, 25 to 34, and then it was 35 to 44 was the second largest, I believe. But 70% women, and for the numbers to reflect that. Now, I'm not saying that the numbers of people that voted, that was the breakdown of the people that voted. I'm just talking about the people that actually view our page. So, and that may be because, sometimes you have a short that may go viral. Like we had one with there was a Candace Owens one. So maybe that's why You know, most of the views have come from the ladies, but neither here nor there. We're going to get into Biden's speech, and just, you probably won't listen to the whole thing. It's 26 minutes. I'm not going to bore y'all to death. Bron's playing right now, but this is more important. You feel me? I said, you know what? I got to get this video in. Forget that game. Whoever wins doesn't really impact my life whatsoever. So here we are. And like I said earlier, Biden, smart move for Biden, I guess. I say I guess because it's like, it's to the point where it's like, if you can't read through like somebody trying to sweet talk you to get you out your panties, if you can't see through that, then at this point, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. Like, Biden, let's just get into it. Let's just get into the video. Let's get into the video. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, and y'all like that welcome video with the 30-second countdown? Beat hit too, right? All right, let's see if we can screen. Boom. Share. All right, let's get Biden. Good old Uncle Joe up there. Nah, that's too small. Y'all making me too small. All right, there we go. All right, I'm cool with that. That's cool. That's cool. All right, so here we go. Let me get this a little more centered on me. There we go. Let's check it out. And I'll be pausing as we go through.
By violence and by hate. But after the election and the re-election of the first black American president, thank you, Mr. President, for that introduction. Dr. Morris, thank you for the incredible honorary degree. And thank you, President Frederick, for the invitation and for your leadership of your alma mater. Serena, student body president, College of Pharmacy, class speaker. And just remember, when you're President of the United States and they say Joe Biden's out in the waiting room to say hello, promise me you will not say Joe who, right?
Hopefully it's not too loud for y'all.
To the distinguished faculty and staff, thank you for having me, and to the parents and families in the class of 2023, congratulations. And by the way, we will get to giving you your degrees. I promise that's coming.
It's everything you wish for. Your site traffic is skyrocketing until this happens.
You are here
Gotta bear with the
heart and through the heartache, through blood, sweat, and tears of everything that's come before, for everything yet to come. You're here at the new moment of hope and possibilities. For graduates, before we begin, as mentioned many times, tomorrow's Mother's Day. Stand for your mothers and grandmothers. Stand and thank them.
He's bruh. Ladies, y'all the ones that get gamed the most when it comes to all this. Y'all get gamed the most. Like, stand for your mothers. Like, I get it. Like, but come on. Maybe I'm doing too much. I'm overreacting. It's just extra. Like, come on, bro. We get what you're doing. And black women, it is what it is. Black women, they try to manipulate y'all the most. All right. They want to get rid of us, get us out the household, but they got to manipulate y'all to do it. So maybe I'm just entering it with, that bias to the point where it's like, yo, I already feel the game that you about to give. But let's get back to the video. My fault. My bad. I got to stop it again. All right, real quick. I didn't mention this in the beginning, but the fact, I don't know. How do y'all feel about the fact that when I said it was good for Joe Biden, I didn't talk about whether or not it was good for Hampton. I mean, Howard, my fault. the real HU, right? My bad. I'm a William and Mary cat, bro. I ride with Hampton, but it is what it is. When I say, is it good? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure we could have had a bunch of other. I'm big on symbolism, so I think it's always amazing that, when it comes to Black people, we can't afford to not highlight Black people that are doing well, that are influencing us in a positive way. So it's always different when it comes to, it's not that it's like, oh, white person should never be able to give a speech at HBCU. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that Biden took a spot from somebody else from speaking. Like, we know how Biden feels. We know exactly what Biden's about, but perhaps we could have used this, or Howard could have used this as an opportunity to allow the students on one of the biggest days of their lives, getting an amazing achievement, graduating. Perhaps there's somebody else that looks like them, talks like them, maybe comes from a similar background as some of them, who could have given them some game and life advice to set them forth for, as they enter this new real world for them. So that's just my thoughts on it. But let's get back into it. I promise I'm not going to keep interrupting.
Where I come from, moms rule. To my friend, and he is my friend, Congressman Jim Clyburn, the thing that I admire most about you, Jim.
All right, yo, I'm doing it. There's nothing wrong with what he just said. There's nothing wrong with what he just said. The only thing is, you're talking to people that moms clearly rule, because the majority of our Black households are ran by single mothers. So, and like I said, he still probably didn't say anything wrong, but I don't think that we'd ever hear him get into a room and celebrate the father, the Black father, the way that he's over here running game on the Black women. But let's get to it.
Your absolute integrity in everything you do. In everything you do. This is a man of honor. I attended South Carolina State University's commencement as Jim received his degree he earned 60 years ago, but never got a chance to receive it in person. Jim, it's an honor to join you here today and receive an honorary degree from this great university. And it's truly special to join fellow honorees, Prime Minister Rowley. Prime Minister, I didn't know you were so talented. I just thought you were a foreign policy, Latin American guy. We got to talk. All kidding aside, thank you for being a strong partner in the Caribbean and for addressing climate change and supporting democracies across the Western Hemisphere. I'm also honored that there's a person here today, Dr. Tony Allen. He's president of my home state BCU, Delaware State University, where I got politically started. I was fortunate to have Tony as a Senate staffer for a long time. Then he got his PhD, had a distinguished career in business, and became...
Yo, somebody look into that. Like he said, his home state university where he got started. Does he mean where he got started in Delaware or started with Delaware State? We got to look into that.
President of HBCU. Now Tony chairs my White House Board of Advisors on HBCUs, which is designed to support and advance HBCU excellence with a lot more money. I'm also proud to say that we're the first White House to formally convene where the real power is, the Divine Nine. Oh, y'all think I'm kidding. Not a joke.
Yeah, homie just gaming. And I wasn't even going to say anything until he threw out the Divine Nine. He throwing out the money, talking about the money. It's so funny how if Trump would have said something like that, a lot of the people on the left would have been like, oh, he's just talking about throwing money at, these HBCUs. He doesn't care about, I don't know, maybe I'm reaching. But once again, who is he looking to appeal to? Like, y'all got to dig a little deeper with this. Like, we can't be such surface level thinkers. Like him shouting out the sororities, like you hear how amped they are. Like, bro, like, when are we going to realize this is Biden? Like, look at the history of this man, the history of how he's impacted Black lives. And now he just come up here running some game on y'all, and y'all just excited, man.
The Divine Nine not only has a seat at the table, we definitely hear you at the table. And they're our first time ever at the White House, permanently. So, folks, in 2023, I'm truly honored to be here at Howard. Chartered 156 years ago by an act of Congress just after emancipation of the Civil War. Founded on a hilltop in Washington, D.C., the Mecca. Always promoting excellence, leadership, and truth and service. It really has. And a proving ground for future leaders of science, medicine, education, business, faith, arts, entertainment, public service. Trailblazing intellectuals, lawyers, doctors. The first black, I might say, Vice President of the United States of America.
Kamala be black as hell when they need her to be. Black as hell, right? She throw that out there, black. Once again, anything to appeal to Black women.
Say that again. Kamala sends her love, and she sent a clear message that today I have the privilege, she points out, of speaking at the real HU.
They knew to go to commercial after that, but I need to look into that. Bear with me on this video, and we may have to upgrade to this premium, because if they're gonna keep having these commercials every 2 minutes, then we may need to upgrade. But y'all just bear with me. I appreciate it.
Now you realize that's going to cost me at home. There's enormous pride in this university. Founded in the verses of Howard Anthem, and I quote, reared against the eastern sky, proudly there on hilltop high, there she stands for truth and right, sending forth her rays of light. It matters. It matters. It matters. We're living through one of the most consequential moments in our history, with fundamental questions at stake for our nation. Who are we? What do we stand for? What do we believe? Who will we be? You're going to help answer those questions. Let me take you back to January 2009. I stood in Wilmington, Delaware, on the train station of Amtrak, carrying my folder, waiting to be picked up by a guy named Barack Obama. The first black man elected president of the United States. I was there to join him as vice president on the way to the historic inauguration in Washington. A moment of extraordinary hope, but also as I stood there, and this is the God's truth, I couldn't help think about another day I stood there. It wasn't much more than your age. I just got out of law school. I'd gone to work for a big firm, but my state, because of when Dr. King was assassinated, my city parts were burned to the ground. We had a very conservative governor. He stationed a National Guard in every corner with drawn bayonets for 10 months. I quit and became a public defender. I used to have to introduce my clients. No, that's not so noble. I had to interview my clients down at the Wilmington train station when they were arrested on the east side. That's where they'd be taken. In the aftermath of the riots that burned Wilmington following his assassination. In 2009, while waiting for Barack, I was both living history at the same time I was reliving it. A vivid demonstration When it comes to race in America, hope doesn't travel alone. It's shadowed by fear, by violence, and by hate. But after the election and the re-election of the first black American president, I had hope that the fear, violence, and hate was significantly losing ground. After no longer being vice president, I became a professor at the University of Pennsylvania for 4 years. But in 2017, in Charlottesville, Virginia, crazed neo-Nazis with angry faces came out of the fields literally with torches, carrying Nazi banners from the woods and the fields, chanting the same anti-Semitic bile heard across Europe in the 30s, something I never thought I would ever see in America. Accompanied by Klansmen and white supremacists, emerging from dark rooms and remote fields and the anonymity of the internet, confronting decent Americans of all backgrounds, standing in their way into the bright light of day. And a young woman, objecting to their presence, was killed.
I'm so fat.
Brendan, you're not fat. It's the shirt.
Look at Nate. His true class.
It's a good place to stop. Yo, how many times? It's like there must be just a playbook for how to tap into black people's emotions, how to tap into women's emotions. Like, this is not a commencement speech. This is a campaign speech. This is not a commencement speech. This is just a campaign speech. I haven't heard any game that these people can take away and, use to, put them on a trajectory for success that can get your mind right. Like, I've heard commencement speeches where it's just like, yo, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to run through a wall in order to get to where I want to get to. He's just using. It's a shame, bro. It's a shame. It's a shame. And I don't know how much longer I could listen to this.
What did you hear? That famous quote when asked about what happened. That famous quote. There are very fine people on both sides. That's when I knew, and I'm not joking, that's when I knew I had to stay in.
Yo, this is bad. This is bad. Like, this man, I don't know if it's him or whoever's in his ear, whoever's writing his speeches, but it's either one or two things. Either they think very less, like, of black people's intelligence. Like, who can't see right through what this is? Either they just, think that, we are just super ignorant and naive, or we just are. I don't know which one it is. I don't know if they're right. Because clearly, like, they feel that they can still run these same plays and score touchdowns. Like, y'all running the same plays. Y'all aren't disguising them. Y'all aren't shifting, your formation. You're running the same play. But I guess it's our fault, because if it works, you keep running it, right? I don't know. Maybe it's clearly us. It's us. It's us. It's black people. Black people that would rather accept rather than fight. Black people that would rather be comfortably at the bottom than have an uncomfortable fight to win and to get to the top. That's what it really comes down to.
Engaged and get back into public life. No, I don't say it for that reason. I safer the journey. I don't have to tell you that fearless progress toward justice often meets ferocious pushback from the oldest and most sinister of forces. That's because hate never goes away. I thought when I graduated we could defeat hate, but it never goes away. It only hides under the rocks. And when it's given oxygen, it comes out from under that rock. That's why we know this truth as well. Silence is complicity. It cannot remain silent. We have to live through this battle for the soul of the nation. And it is still a battle for the soul of the nation. What is the soul of a nation? Well, I believe the soul is the breath, the life, the essence of who we are. The soul makes us us. The soul of America is what makes us unique among all nations. We're the only country founded on an idea, not geography, not religion, not ethnicity, but an idea. The sacred proposition rooted in Scripture and enshrined in the Declaration of Independence that we're all created equal in the image of God and deserve to be treated equally throughout our lives. While we've never fully lived up to that promise, we never before fully walked away from it. We know that American history has not always been a fairy tale. From the start, it's been a constant push and pull for more than 240 years. Between the best of us, the American ideal that we're all created equal, and the worst of us, the harsh reality that racism has long torn us apart.
So just to be clear, I just want to know which side is Joe Biden assuming that we think he's on, or which side does he identify with? The best of us or the worst of us? Because when it comes to black people and him saying that it hasn't been a fairy tale, he was one of the biggest nightmares. He caused one of the biggest nightmares, right? That crime bill that he wrote. That crime bill where all them trying to, reform this and reform all that extra stuff that they're trying to do now, or that they act like they're really trying to do. He put these black men in prison. They thought that it was fair to have stricter rules on the same drug, just in a different form. Coke, crack. He thought that was appropriate. Joe Biden, what makes you think that you can sit up in front of a group of black people, educated black people, right? It's educated black people. Educated does not mean intelligent. It's not the same thing. But what makes you think that you could get up in front of a group of black people and talk about the best of us, the worst of us, talking about Charlottesville with the comments that Trump made with good people on both sides? What makes you the person that can point these things out and can be the voice of reason when it comes to deciphering between who's good and who's bad when it comes to black people? I'm just wondering. Y'all let me know your thoughts.
It's a battle that's never really over. But on the best days, enough of us have the guts and the hearts to stand up for the best in us, to choose love over hate, unity over disunion, progress over retreat, to stand up against the poison of white supremacy, as I did in my inaugural address, to single out as the most dangerous terrorist threat to our homeland is white supremacy.
The most dangerous terroristic threat to our homeland is white supremacy. How? How, Sway? Like, how? You're clearly just saying that because you're in front of a group of black people, right? How is the most dangerous threat to our society or to our democracy, whatever he said, white supremacy? Democrats love talking about white supremacy What exactly is white supremacy? What exactly is it? Because it's so funny to me, like when you talk about white supremacy, first off, these democratic social programs keep black people at the bottom to where we can't reign supreme, to where we can't win and be in that upper echelon. Those programs keep us down more than anything or anybody could hope to. Those programs. Joe Biden has destroyed more families than any other politician, perhaps in the history of our country. But you're talking about white supremacy, bro. Like, what exactly are you referring to? Like, what exactly is the white supremacy that he's referring to that we should be so scared of? Because truth be told, I'm not waking up scared of the KKK or scared of whatever these groups are that he's talking about. That doesn't impact black people's lives the same way that these social programs do, to where we become dependent on these programs, to where our women are incentivized to not have a husband in the household because of these programs, to where our men are getting emasculated by the agendas that Joe Biden and the Democrats continue to push. Bro, yo, this is highly disrespectful. This is why he feels that he could say stuff to us like, you're not black unless you vote for me. If you don't vote for me, you're not black. Come on, bro. This guy's a clown. And we're bigger clowns. So let me make that clear.
I'm not saying this because I'm at a black HBCU. I say it wherever I go. To stand up for truth over lies, lies told for power and profit.
Hold up, Uncle Joe. He said he's not just saying this because he's at a black university or a black HBCU, I think he said, which is repetitive, but whatever. Yes, you are. Because if you thought that our biggest threat was white supremacy, the biggest threat to our democracy, our country, right, is white supremacy. If that's the case, then why would you make the statement when you're running for president like you did, that the LGBTQ agenda is your number one priority? I'm sorry, is white supremacy directly attacking the LGBTQ community, or are you saying that it directly attacks the black community? White, black supremacy, right? That's where white supremacy comes from. Reigning supreme over who? Right? Black people. So it's BS. I'm calling BS, because you can't sit here and say that that's the biggest threat. White supremacy is the biggest threat to our democracy. But then when you're running for votes and running for president, you're talking about the LGBTQ agenda is your number one priority. Doesn't make sense. Especially, it doesn't make sense for somebody who's responsible for writing the crime bill that has destroyed more families, like I said before, than any other politician, perhaps in the history of our country.
To confront the ongoing assault to subvert our elections, suppress our right to vote. That assault came just as you cast your first ballots in 20 and 22. Record turnouts. You delivered historic progress. I made it clear that Americans of all backgrounds, have an obligation to call out political violence that has been unleashed and emboldened. As was mentioned already, bomb threats to this very university and HBCUs across the country.
With Photo Vibrance, you can transform.
I ain't gonna say, he spelled it a little wrong, but we'll let him rock with that.
To reject political extremism and reject political violence, democracy on the ballot. to reject political extremism and reject political violence, protect fundamental rights and freedom for women to choose, for transgender children to be free, for affordable health care.
Say, yo, shout out to Hassan. Take the what and lead a what? Bro, he just associated, like, you went from women's right to choose. Okay, we get it. Roe versus Wade. We get it. But then, hold on. What exactly did he say? That trans kids being free? Hold on.
Violence. Protect fundamental rights and freedom for women to choose, for transgender children to be free.
Transgender children should be free. Free to what? Are transgender kids, please tell me if transgender kids are enslaved or there's something that I'm not aware of. Transgender kids should be free. So I'm going to assume, since he didn't explain, or maybe he will, but I'm going to assume anyway, that when he throws out rhetoric like that, that you're referring to transgender kids being free to go through these procedures that change their sex, that change their gender. Or that they think that they're changing organs. I don't think it changes your gender or your sex, but they changing their organs. Why would you think that a kid, like, why, listen, y'all better be real careful about what these people are promoting. Because think about it like this. 10 years ago, 5 years ago, this would be seen, if somebody said this 5 years ago, you'd be like, yo, this person's insane. If the stuff that the LGBTQ agenda, the trans agenda pushes when it comes to trans athletes, you're a man and you're playing against women, bullying them, like, and the fact that women are okay with this, women align with these type of groups when it's hurting the women the most, weird. But when he says that trans kids should have the freedom to make decisions about their what? Yeah, we better be careful because, like I said, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, this would be seen as crazy. So we may want to think long and hard about, if we support this now, what 5 years from now and 10 years from will look from now. It is our duty and obligation to protect our younger generations and to leave this world a better one when we leave it than when we got here. We may want to take heed to that.
For affordable health care and housing, for the right to raise your family and retire with dignity, to stand with leaders of your generation who give voice to the people demanding action on gun violence, only to be expelled from state legislative bodies, to stand against books being banned and Black history being erased. I'm serious, think about it. To stand up for the best in us. And today I come here to Howard to continue the work to redeem the soul of this nation, because it's here where I see the future, and that's not hyperbole.
So Uncle Joe's gonna redeem the soul of this nation. I don't know what makes him qualified to redeem the soul of this nation. I don't even know what that means. He just throws stuff out there, and we're dumb enough to be sitting there just like, we look dumb. We are so dumb. Like, why do we allow ourselves to be taken advantage of like this? Like, why? Like, because if we didn't, he wouldn't even feel comfortable feeling like he could run this type of weirdo game on us.
Hyperbole. We can finally resolve those ongoing questions about who we are as a nation. That puts strength of our diversity at the center of American life.
Yeah, I peep my man yawning. He like, yeah, what is homie talking about? Give my degree.
a future for all Americans, a future I see you leading, and I'm not, again, exaggerating. You are going to be leading it. Again, let's be clear.
Hey, black folk, all y'all Howard University grads, just want y'all to know, y'all are going to be leading this. And Uncle Joe has no problem and is serious about him seeing that y'all will be leading this country and leading this world.
There are those that don't see you and don't want this future. There are those who demonize and pit people against one another. And there are those who do anything and everything, no matter how desperate or immoral, to hold on to power. And that's never going to be an easy battle. But I know this, the oldest, most sinister forces may believe they'll determine America's future, but they are wrong. We will determine America's future. You will determine America's future.
Who is we?
That's not hyperbole. No graduating class gets to choose the world into which they graduate. Every class enters the history of a nation up to the point has been written by others. But few classes, once in every several generations, enters at a point in our history where it actually has a chance to change the trajectory of the country. You face that inflection point today. And I know you'll meet the moment. I just think about the many ways you already have. With your voices and votes, I was able to fill my commitment to put the first black woman on the Supreme Court of the United States of America. And by the way,
here we go. Here we go. He's making sure he appeal to y'all black women, ladies. Next thing you know, he's going to be talking about, yo, we got open bar for all the ladies, all this other stuff in D.C. Like, yeah, bro, ladies, come on, man. Y'all got to be reading. Like, y'all can't see past this game. Maybe that's the.
she's brighter than the rest. She is one bright woman. Because of you, more black women have been appointed to the federal appellate courts than under every other president in American history combined. And by the way, I mean it. I mean it because of you. Because of you. You turned out. You spoke up. You knew. You showed up and the votes counted. And you made people say, whoa, wait a minute. What price will I pay if I don't do the following?
What if you could do SEO smarter and
Feel the promise pay if I don't do the following. You feel the promise and peril of climate change. Because of you, we're making the biggest investment ever in the history of the world in climate change. Don't ever think your voice doesn't matter. I'm keeping my promise that no one should be in jail merely because of using and possessing marijuana. Their record should be expunged. Just expunged. My student debt relief plan would help tens of millions of people, especially those on Pell Grants. 70% of black college students receive Pell Grants. Many of you, the savings would be significant in even wiping out.
So who's paying for that, though? Who's paying for that? All this student debt relief, who's paying for that? I'm just wondering. Because we never hear that side of it. Who's paying for that? Or do you just assume that you can just tax the wealthy and because black people ain't in that category, they won't worry about it? Is that the assumption that we're making? Maybe a fair assumption. I don't know. What y'all think?
Out student debt completely for some. But this new Republican Party is dead set against it, suing my administration to stop you from getting student debt relief. The same opposition who received relief loans, I might add, to keep their businesses afloat during the pandemic. Members of the Congress worth thousands, even millions of dollars, most of which didn't have to be paid back. Yet, they say it's okay for them, but not for you. I find it outrageous. To reduce your student debt service payments when you graduate, we're also ensuring that no one with an undergraduate loan today or in the future will have to pay more than 5% of discretionary income to repay their loans, down from 10, and in 20 years is gone. Republican officials are fighting that as well. But I'll always keep fighting for you, and many others will, and many in the Republican Party as well will fight.
Hold up. I get all this. You know, the problem is college is just expensive and overrated. Expensive and overrated. But if you make a commitment and decide that you want to purchase something, then you're responsible for making that payment. Now, shame on people in our lives that don't educate us on what happens when you take a loan out. But that needs to be first, addressed. Stop committing to these silly loans. You don't have to go to that out-of-state college and take out hundreds of $1,000s of debt. You don't have to. You can go to that community college, figure out exactly what it is that you want to focus on. And then if you decide to, hopefully you can get a scholarship at a university, get some financial aid, at least start working, getting some money under your belt. So you're not just taking out these outrageous loans, seeing how money works, seeing how the world works first, rather than just us assuming that you just graduate high school and jump right into college. We're not even ready to go to college. We don't even have a proper understanding when we go to college of what it is that we're trying to take from college. Our only goal is to graduate, and that's not the biggest takeaway from college. The biggest takeaway is the people that we're going to be around, our network, developing a network, hopefully building. You should be trying to build a business while you're in college. So that way, all those failures and lessons L's that we take turn into lessons that we can use moving forward. We should be learning from people that are actually have real world experience in doing what they're teaching, rather than just people that their only experience is teaching. The value system's all off.
For you.
But if you agree to it, we shouldn't be running and looking for other people to bail us out. First and foremost, I don't care what's happening with the businesses. I'm just talking about for us. We need to stop making these commitments that we're not prepared to see through. And if we're not mature enough to evaluate the decision at that time, then we probably shouldn't be making it. Or we need to have some other people that are involved in that process.
We also know there's more to do. Because of your power, we took the most significant law on gun violence. We passed it, most significant law in 30 years. But we will not give up. I got the assault weapons ban passed 30 years ago. We're going to pass it again. We must pass it. There's more to do on police reform and public safety. During the State of the Union, I asked the rest of the country to imagine having to talk to their children, their families, like your families had to talk to you. It's about your security. It's about your dignity. It's demeaning and degrading and deadly when you have to stand there and say, when you're stopped, turn the interior light on. Put both hands on the wheel. Don't reach for your license. What in the hell's going on in there? No. Think about it.
When you buy music gear from Sweetwater, you get more than just what's in the box. A whole lot more.
I ask all the parents, non-minority children, ask what they would say, what they would do. I know you're frustrated because there's so many elected officials who refuse to pass a law that will do something. Kamala and I stood next to the family of George Floyd and the civil rights leaders and law enforcement officials to sign the executive order I came up with requiring the key elements of the George Floyd bill be applied to federal law enforcement. Banning chokeholds, restricting no-knock warrants, establishing a database for police misconduct, advancing effective and accountable community policing that builds public trust. and we'll keep fighting to pass the reforms nationwide. Equal justice is a covenant we have with each other. It must not just be an ideal, it has to be a reality. You're leading the way on this and so much more. That's why Kamala and I are so committed to investing in you and HBCUs. HBCUs help produce 40% of black engineers, 50% of black lawyers, 70% of black doctors and dentists, 80% of black judges. Look, we see HBCU excellence in every day with staff at every level at the White House and the administration. Because I decided when I was elected, I promised I was going to have my administration look like America. But we all know that HBCUs don't have the same endowments and funding as other major colleges and universities. For example, denying the opportunity to build and fund research labs that will lead to new technologies and good-paying jobs. That's why I asked them, we've invested $6 billion in counting in HBCUs, including to create new research and development labs that prepare students for jobs of the future in high-income fields from cybersecurity, engineering, biochemistry, healthcare. Standing here, I think the last time I came to Howard with President Frederick and others was in my final year as vice president to host the Cancer Moonshot on campus, because you're leading the way. You're the scientists, the doctors, the advocates who will bring and do big things like ending cancer as we know it, and even curing some cancers, which we're on their way of doing. You're the diplomats and global citizens making democracy work for people around the world. Lawyers defending our rights, artists shaping our culture, fearless journalists. This is real, though. This is what you're doing. Fearless journalists and intellectuals pursuing the truth and challenging convention. You're the leaders of tomorrow, but it's coming on you really quickly. Because of you, I see a future where we can finally move away from the narrow and cramped view that the promise of America is a zero-sum game. If you succeed, I fail. If you get ahead, I fall behind. And maybe worst of all, if I can't hold you down, I can't lift myself up. Instead of what it should be. If you do well, we all do well. That's what I see. That's what I see in America. And more Americans are. A future of possibilities for all Americans. Look, no matter that future, what it holds, my sincere hope is that each of you find the sweet spot between happiness, success, and ambition. A good life, a life of purpose. Because here's the thing, you don't know where or what fate will bring you or when. You just have to keep going. You have to just keep the faith.
I can't front. I like that last stuff that he said. That sweet spot. That's about the balance. I'm not gonna lie. I like that part. You know, where he said between the good life, I believe he said, and purpose. Between success, happiness, and ambition. That's it.
Just get up. And you can find the balance between ambition and happiness and success. That good life, of purpose, of family. And as you know here at Howard, of excellence, leadership, and truth and service. There's no quit in you. There's no quit in America. So let me close with this. In our lives, in the life of the nation, we know that fear can shadow hope. But it's also true that hope can defeat fear. In January 2021, I stood in the U.S. Capitol to be inaugurated as President of the United States. Just days before, on that very spot, a violent insurrection took place, a dagger at the throat of democracy. For the first time in our history, an attempt to stop the peaceful transition.
This is officially a Joe Biden town hall. This is not a commencement speech. I'm just letting y'all know. And there's a town hall with no pushback. Actually, very strategic. Very strategic. They know exactly who they are. You got to know who you are. That's what we always talk about. Know who you are, know where you want to get to. But they know exactly who he is. This was the safest place that he could make a town hall. Not get questioned about anything, in good company, celebrate black women and get them on his side. Like, come on, bro. Touche.
Transfer of power in this country. And they failed. Our democracy held. Again, hope prevailed. And this time, I was standing with a black woman about to take a 2-mile procession down Pennsylvania Avenue as President and Vice President of the United States of America. And who was marching alongside her? The Howard University Marching Band in lockstep and solidarity. You were. I give you my word as a black class of 2023, you're the reason I'm so optimistic about the future. And I give you my word, I really mean it. You're part of the most gifted, tolerant, talented, best educated generation in American history. That's a fact. And it's your generation, more than anyone else's, will answer the questions for America. Who are we? What do we stand for? What do you believe? What do we believe? What do we want to be? I'm not saying you have to share this burden all on your own. The task at hand ahead is the work of all of us. But what I am saying is, you represent the best of us. And that's the God's truth. You represent the best of us. Your generation will not be ignored, will not be shunned, will not be silenced. So on the hilltop high, keep standing for truth and right, and send your rays of light. Congratulations to you all. We need you. God bless you, and may God protect our troops.
There you have it. There you have it. All right. Yeah, y'all heard my thoughts the whole way through. I will be honest and say this. I blame Biden less and less every time I hear him talk. I blame us the people that vote for him, and the people that on his side, on his team, that continue to put him in this position. They know that he's not capable. Like, they know that this is very hard for him, like health-wise. Very hard for him. So, I don't know. Y'all let me know your thoughts. We're back at it. Well, I don't know when I'll put this up, when it'll upload, but, we got the Wake Up Show Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, 8 a.m. Tap in with us. We're going to be doing a whole lot more lives. We got the new platform, so we're going to be able to be getting people up here as well and just building. So onward and upward, strength and honor. Get to the bag with integrity, of course. Ooh.